No worries, ladies and gents, we're almost getting everything sorted. Just make sure that we got everything ready on our end so we can start the show. So just give us a few minutes time to wait for a few more people to make their way in, and then we'll start off the show. And it looks like I think we're set. Michael in the chat, hello my man, how you doing? I think we're all ready, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, let's kick things off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SRM ESPORTS here for Season 4, Round 17 of the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm your commentator, Justin, also known as Just Gaming, whichever one you guys back at home prefer. And ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The season finale of Season 4. And what will be the last stream of F1 2021. So it's going to be a very emotional day for some of us. Back at home, it's going to be a very emotional day for some of the drivers out on the field. One thing I have noticed as well, ladies and gentlemen, is that when it comes to the championship standings, we actually already have our guaranteed driver's champion of Michael F1 2008, who currently is leading by 24 points off of RSI Markey. Very unfortunate that he couldn't be here with us here tonight to fight for the driver's championship. However, he still put up a very good fight. Very unfortunate that he had to avoid today's race due to family. Back at home, I hope everything is okay for you, Marky, if you are listening in, or will be listening in after this race. So I hope everything is okay with you, and I hope to see you for next season. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, for the next season, we're still waiting to see who will be attending SRM Esports for Season 5. So if you guys have missed it, please go onto the Discord and get yourself signed up. But some big news as well, ladies and gentlemen. The calendar has already been set for us. So we're going to be kicking off the season on the 13th of July at the Mexican Grand Prix to kick off Season 5. Then we have France on the 20th, then Hungary on the 27th, and then Monza, which is a sprint race weekend. So right there on the 3rd of August. And then the week after on the 10th will be a break, and then the 17th would be the Singapore Grand Prix. After Singapore, we'll be having the Azerbaijan at Baku at the 24th, and the 31st, rounding out the month of August for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. After the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, we actually have Barcelona, Catalunya for the 7th of September. And then we have the new track that's been added to the calendar, the Miami Grand Prix, on the 14th. Then we have a break on the 21st, and then we're back again on the 28th for the Monaco Grand Prix. And it looks like the first person out there is going to be Pablo Juarez. And it looks like with the wet weather here tonight as well, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a little bit of a slippery setup here for qualifying, as we have around 18 minutes, no, 17 minutes left to qualifying. Alicia as well in the chat. Marky is such an amazing driver and definitely put Michael to the test. My heart goes out to you and your family. I hope everything is okay. Sending my love and prayers. Likewise, over here, Marky, so I hope everything is okay with you on that front. But back to the calendar. Start of October, we actually have the British Grand Prix on the 5th. Then we have the Australian Grand Prix on the 12th, Canadian Grand Prix on the 19th, and then Imola on the 16th, which will be a sprint race weekend. After Imola, we then have a break, a week's break, and then we're back at it again on the 9th of November for Abu Dhabi. After that, we have the Austrian Grand Prix, which we find ourselves here today on the 16th of November. That is when we're going to be having the Austrian Grand Prix for Season 5. 23rd would be the Netherlands Grand Prix, and then the 30th would be the Bahrain. After, for the final months of the year, on the 7th of December, we'll be at Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And then the 14th, we'll be having the Belgian Grand Prix, which is a sprint race weekend. And then after Belgium, we'll be having a 3-week break from starting on the 21st all the way to the New Year on the 4th. We'll be having a break on those, so there's going to be no races on those days. On the 11th, we'll be back at Coda for the penultimate race of the season. And then on the 18th of January, we'll be at Japan for the sprint race season finale. And as we're currently still on board with Pablo Juarez, we are still waiting on someone to put in a good time. And Pablo has actually, unfortunately, invalidated his lap time. So we're now going to go check on the Mercedes duo. And Richard, so far, is going to be the first one, as he's currently with a validated time, stay within the track limits. And that's one thing about this track that makes it very difficult here, ladies and gentlemen, is that with the Austrian Grand Prix, very easy to lose a little bit of traction and go off of the racing line. But Richard was able to stay within and get a 112.7. His teammate Steve goes about exactly 6/10 slower on that lap, and Kittle makes his way up. So after that, we're still waiting on a few more people, and it looks like we have the first DNF of the session. I'm looking at Wolsey as well, who has just spun around the final corner and has come in front right of Andy Smoke's mid, and there is the Alfa Romeo of Slater who has spun around. And we also have James who has spun around the final corner. So in the wet conditions here at Austria, 2 drivers already bite the dust. Well, actually in this case, a full mouth of a little bit of metal after making contact with the barriers. But as we're here for the Austrian Grand Prix, let's get ourselves a little bit of a brief description. 10 corners make up the Austrian Grand Prix, and one of the shortest tracks actually on the F1 calendar, with 4.3 kilometers making up the Red Bull Ring here at Austria in Spielberg. And around 36 laps is going to be what we're going to be experiencing here tonight. Current lap record of 105.619 from Carlos Sainz back in 2020, and his I believe Carlos Sainz at the time was at McLaren, if I remember that correctly. But still waiting on a few more people to go out there on their laps. Dopey Lem is going to be starting a new lap here. And I'm actually seeing quite a bit of people making their way into the channel now. So if you guys are just queuing in, welcome for the season finale of Season 4 of SRM ESPORTS, as we're here for round 17 of the Austrian Grand Prix. Qualifying has just commenced, and we're already seeing a few people have themselves a little bit of issues out there on the track. Wolsey looks like he's going to actually cut across the white line and cut across the grass into the pit lane. Not going to be satisfied with that lap, as he's going to make his way in. And I think I see why. The rain is starting to ease off a little bit, so we could be seeing a mixed qualifying session here tonight, actually, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the big news has been provided. F1 22 has finally been released for Champions Edition. And if you guys want to look up a few footage about a few videos and snippets about the actual event, well, not the event, the actual game being released, go onto Twitch, go onto YouTube. You can definitely find quite a bit of people. But I'm looking at it now. DRS has finally been enabled here, so we are going to be seeing a mixed setup as Richard retires after crashing out, and he is going to be out with only an intermediate lap time, so that's really going to mess him up here, and he's going to start to go down the grid. And now we're going to be seeing drivers switch onto the slick compounds. And I think the strategy here, ladies and gentlemen, probably start on the set of mediums and go on till the end on the set of softs. I think that's going to be the best bet for these drivers right now. But actually, let's actually give ourselves a little bit of a description about where we are. So the original Österreich circuit, measuring just under 6 kilometers, was compromised of a series of high-speed corners and elevation changes, with little in the way of runoff areas. American driver Mark Donohue lost his life following an accident in 1975, prompting the addition of a chicane to slow speeds on the wait. Yeah, this is the Austrian Grand Prix. This is interesting. So of course, it was the Austrian Grand Prix actually has been hosted in a few different tracks. First one being the Österreich ring circuit, and then nevertheless, actually, the circuit remained frighteningly fast in 1987, where Nelson Piquet's pole average of a blistering 159.4 miles per hour, which is around 255.7 kilometers per hour, average speeds on the lap. So a lot of history with this track, a lot of things around the Austrian Grand Prix. As Highlander, the Scotsman in the chat, very unfortunate with his spin, as he's going to be starting from the back of the grid. Still waiting on a few more people, as with the dry conditions now, we're still waiting for one driver to switch onto the set of slicks, and everyone is still out there on the set of intermediates. Now, this is a bit of a weird strategy with some of these people, actually. Thought that they'll be entering the pit lane now for a set of slicks. Angry Dutch Guy looks like he's going to be the first person to start equipping the said slicks, and has currently been equipping the yellow variety with the medium compound tires. And it looks like we have a little bit of Woolsey having himself an incident, as he's going to be crossing the line and just going around the track one more time to actually get himself sorted. Still waiting on who's going to be the first person out of the pit lane on the set of slicks, and it looks like it's going to be Kittle, actually, who is right ahead of Dopey Lemons, and they're both on the set of softs. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, not everything has been decided here tonight, as we are still going to be waiting on the Constructors' Championship. I still haven't received any news about the Constructors' Championship. I've only been seeing news on the Drivers' Championship. I don't know why that is, but I could probably do some quick mathematics. But actually no, I can't do quick mathematics. No, it's too much. But as the standings show, Michael F1, who has practically guaranteed himself the race, the championship here tonight, has currently 337 points, with RSI Markey with 313 points to his name. We're F1 fourth, currently in third with 245. Dundree's in fourth with 204. With Grimmy in fifth with 197. And then we have Dopey Lemons with 174. Then we have Battlesea Mini with 164, who unfortunately have been kicked from the SRM ESPORTS due to a invalidation of rules. When there we have actually Stead 6, who has actually had quite a eventful second half of the season for the Alpine, currently with 130 points. Then we have Richard in 9th with 118, Steve in 10th with 115. So very close between those Mercedes duo. Then we have Angry Dutch Guy in 11th with 111 points. So ones across the board for the Angry Dutch. Then we have Andy Smokesmith in 12th with 91 points, Tomo in 13th with 89. Then we have Mogi with 72, Kittle with 68, Hazard with 52, J-Tech with 51, Wolsey with 44, and Poles got Bull with 24 and 19th. And then we have Slate's PT with 20 points for the Alfa Romeo. So let's see, what times are we going to be seeing here? Kittle's going to be the first one on the set of slicks as he's coming around the final corner. We could be looking at a 104 tonight. And Kittle is the one to do it, a 104.6 as it stands right now. So we're still waiting on a few more people to cross the line and improve on their laps. Dopey Lemons has invalidated on his lap, so he's going to have to go for another one here. Pablo Juarez, let's see what the Williams driver can bag in. And he currently makes himself up on the front row with a 105.491, as we now have under 7 minutes left of qualifying. So we're going to have to wait and see what these drivers are going to be clocking in, and see where they're actually going to be starting themselves for the beginning of the race. So actually Pablo up by quite a substantial amount in Sector 1, currently up by 6/10 entering Sector 2. So we're actually going to stay on board with Pablo Juarez as we're waiting for a few more people to cross the line. Steve actually with a 105.6 on his lap, and Pablo Juarez just took too much of that exit curb there, and that's going to mess up his lap. So that's very unfortunate, and he actually lost quite a bit there. But Kittle with a 104.4 now as he increases the gap by another few tenths, 2 tenths to be exact. We're watching on a few more people to finish off their laps, as Michael has actually retired in the pit lane. He's going to be wanting to start in that P11 spot, and start in the bottom half. So I mean, it makes sense. He already has won the championship. He might be doing something just to have himself a little bit of fun, doing a little bit of testing. But so far we just saw Tomo cross the line with a 105.1. Angry Dutch Guy actually crossed the line earlier, and we just missed it, a 104.9 for the home Grand Prix of the Red Bull team here at Austria. Of course, here at the Red Bull Ring. So he's going to be representing his constructor pretty nicely tonight. Well, hopefully, if it all goes to plan. But we're still waiting on a few more people to come out of the pit lane. We're actually still waiting on Pablo Juarez. He's looking to improve on his lap time, potentially. Dopey Lemons was up on his time. Andy Smokes Mid is currently going to be completing his first lap here, as he makes his way towards turn 9 and 10. Let's see what the AlphaTauri driver can do here tonight, as he comes around the final corner, takes too much of that final corner, and that's going to be this lap and the next lap invalidated for the Alfa Romeo, and that is going to really hit him hard here. Angry Dutch Guy did improve even more by another 4 tenths exactly, so it's a 104.5 flat from the Red Bull driver. Just makes you question who's going to be the one to come out on top. Quite a bit of yellow flags out on the field. And Angry Dutch Guy actually currently with the red lights coming off of his car, so it doesn't look like he's actually saving up that much ERS. We're going to have to wait and see what his plan is here, if he's going for this lap or not. He needs to improve by under half a tenth, and he's actually going slower by just under 2 seconds. So it looks like Angry Dutch Guy is going to be entering the pit lane. He's going to be satisfied with that time for the time being. And we could be seeing some things change, of course. And it looks like Kittle's going to be doing the same, entering the pit lane on his lap. Andy Smokes Mid still with an invalidation. And we're actually going to go on board with Pablo. He's going to be starting his new lap here. Missed the apex on the final corner, so he's going to be losing a little bit of momentum down towards turn 1. But let's see what the Williams driver can do here tonight, as he makes his way over the curb and just invalidates it once again. Very difficult here tonight for a lot of these drivers, and the same goes with Andy Smokes Mid. Another invalidation for the AlphaTauri. And there's not much time left, only 3 minutes left of qualifying here, ladies and gentlemen. So these drivers have to really pick it up a little bit, or else they're going to be left in the dust. And Dopey Lemon's currently still on his soft lap here, but this is the thing about Dopey Lemons that he needs to start to consider. Should he go for a soft lap, or should he stay where he is? He did his lap on the intermediate, so he'll have a free tire choice coming to the beginning of this race, and he'll be leading the free tire choices in P6. But looks like he has a little bit of a different change in mind, as he's going to be starting a new lap here. Cuts a lot of that. To be honest with you, he caught a lot of turn 1 there, but luckily he has not invalidated, as he makes his way up towards turn 3 here. Currently up by a second and a half, just over a second and a half with a purple sector 1. So let's see what the Aston Martin driver can do as he takes the DRS sprint towards turn 4. And he goes right over that apex and hits the curb on the exit there, so keeping a lot of momentum down towards turn 6 and 7 here. And now on this left-hander of turn 8, currently up by 5.5 tenths, which would put him currently with a 107 flat. He's going to try and gain a tenth and a half, or a second and a half in this final corner. Let's see if he can do it. and to see if he can get above Pablo Juarez as he takes the sprint, and he's going to do more than that here, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to go on the top step with a 104.445. The front four separated by just over 2 tenths here, ladies and gentlemen. So a good time there from the Aston Martin driver. Tomo currently up on his time by just under a tenth here. Pablo Juarez is going to be going for a new lap here. Same goes with Angry Dutch Guy. So they both might actually be invalidating each other, or practically battling each other on their respective laps, as Pablo Juarez stays within track limits. Same goes with Angry Dutch Guy. Let's actually see. Angry Dutch Guy is going to be improving by just under a tenth, and Pablo Juarez actually improving by over 5 tenths on his lap. So he's really been going at it, and he's going to be having a little bit of slipstream from Angry Dutch Guy to help him out with that as well. So let's see if this actually pays off for the Williams driver, and let's see if Angry Dutch Guy can stay ahead of him at this point, because Pablo Juarez is improving by a substantial amount right now on those set of softs. And this is the dying moments here, ladies and gentlemen. 5 seconds left to qualifying, so this is going to be it. Dopey Lemons has concluded his lap. Pablo Juarez with a little bit of a slippery exit of turn 8, and that's going to lose him quite a bit of time here as he makes his way towards turn 9 and 10 to complete his lap here. Takes a lot of that exit curve, and he's going to get a little bit desperate, but he's going to reach the timing line, and Angry Dutch Guy tops the timing charts with 104.2. Pablo Juarez moves up into 5th with a 104.9. Tomo looks like he's going to be improving so far by 100th of a second. Steve has actually gone off the track in the final corner, so he got a little bit, he put too much power down, and now he goes into the wall, almost replicating what Richard did earlier. Tomo now 1 corner left to end qualifying, and let's see if he's going to be moving up the grid here as he takes the sprint. It's not going to be pole position, but it is going to be P4 as he improves by 4.5 tenths with a 104.5. So that top, actually the top 7, actually the drivers who only did a set of slicks are within a second. So this could be a very, very good time here, and we're still talking about people like the Highlander, Richard, as well as the drivers champion of Season 4, Michael F1, who have still didn't put in a lap time. Well, actually Richard did, but he put his on the intermediate, so he has free tire choice. So there's going to be ones to watch here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but at the Red Bull ring is going to be the Red Bull on top of Angry Dutch Guy with a 104.2. Then we have Dopey Lemons, Kittle, Tomo, Steve, Pablo Juarez, Andy Smokes Mid, Richard, Woolsey, F1 Fard, Slaters, Michael F1, as well as the Highlander. So that's going to be it for qualifying here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be right back for the starting lights. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Just had my mic muted just to get everything sorted for notes and such. But ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be it here tonight, as we are here for the season finale of Season 4, the last race of F1 2021 on SRM. We're going to be on the new F1 22 for the kickoff of the season at Mexico. And ladies and gentlemen, it will be on the 13th of July, so mark it in your calendars. And I was actually told that in prior notes there could be some additional spectator menu options. So I hope that is the case, and I hope it is going to be absolutely amazing. Let me just make some notes here. Give me a second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we are seeing the countdown. Gave everyone plenty of time to put on their setups, change their strategies, change the fuel, and we're gonna be back for the beginning red lights. And it doesn't look like we actually have like a spectator menu addition in F122. I'm not seeing any of the sort, but we're going to be starting off with a formation lap, of course. So I'm going to go back on mute as we watch the drivers make their way around the circuit, and it's going to make me relax my voice a little bit for the race starts. I'm going to be right back after a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Alright, I've been looking around and I couldn't really find any news about any improvements, but it looks like both Slater and Michael both have been disqualified from the formation lap. So those tires are going to be pretty cold, and to be honest with you, they're going to be feeling like F122 from what I've heard, ladies and gentlemen. The tires are very, very, very difficult to get warmed up, and you can see how these drivers, when they line up on the starting grid, it looks a little bit robotic here in F1 2021, but on F1 22 they're going to be having a manual start, so it's going to be very, very different from what we're used to here. But that's going to be it for the formation lap, ladies and gentlemen. 5 red lights to kick things off for the season finale of SRM Esports. Let's see who's going to be the one to come out on top. Here at the Red Bull Ring, we have the 5 red lights for round 17, and the lights are out, and away we go. An amazing start there from Angry Dutch Guy Kiddo as well, who's looking around the outside of Dopey Lemons, and look at Tomo trying to squeeze himself in. Kiddo had to yield and go off the track a little bit, and that gives Tomo P3, sorry. So far, an amazing start actually from James, the Highlander, who's currently up into P10, now looking for P9 against Pablo Juarez as he gets the job done, started in last and already up to P9 into turn 3. We're now seeing Andy Smoke Smid as well as F1 Far take the sprint towards turn 4. F1 Far is a little bit more, we'll say brave on the braking pedal as he makes 2 positions up on Andy Smoke Smid as well as Kittle. We also see Pablo Juarez and Richard. Richard has an issue, and it looks like he has lost an end plate on that Mercedes. Am I right about that? Yes, he has. He has lost his left end plate on that Mercedes. Early incident has given him an early front wing damage, as he is now going to be looking to go into the pit lane and making the early pit stop. But at the end of lap 1, Angry Dutch Guy leads the way by half a second. We're now also seeing James as well catching up on the rear end. Michael as well, and Pablo Juarez, the driver's champion of Michael F1, moves up into P9. Pablo Juarez could do nothing about it against the driver's champion and moves down into P10. Now we're seeing James, who has a better exit than actually Andy Spokesman actually has a better exit than both James and Kittle. He's going to be looking on the tail end of Kittle down towards turn 4. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make the move on that corner. Probably on the exit, has a better exit there. Fighting against that dirty air as they make their way through. Let's see if he can get the job done. But it looks like Kittle actually just has a lot more pace here. And Andy Spokesman has a slide as he goes off turn 8 into the wall. Doesn't look like he got any front wing damage. We're gonna have to check on that nose, and it looks like he was just able to scrape away without any lost carbon fiber. And it looks like he's going to be rejoining F1 Farth now, going on the inside of Steve towards turn 1. And F1 Farth breaks a little bit later, and he's able to get the job done. Steve on those set of saws now, both of them with the DRS, as Highlander has himself a spin around turn 1. And you can see, very troubling to go back on that throttle to get things right. I'm telling you, number 13, a very unlucky number here for James. But luckily, he was able to stay within the race. We're now back up to the front here. Tomo Tip Top right on the tail end of Dopey Lemons, and you can see used a little bit of that ERS to try and make the gap happen. And you can actually see Dopey Lemons is actually closing in a little bit on an Angry Dutch Guy into some of these corners. Tomo actually had a little bit of that curb on the inside of turn 7, lost a little bit of momentum, and that's going to give F1 Farth the opportunity on those set of mediums to make the move as he makes his way around turn 9 and 10 to end lap 4 with the DRS. A huge DRS train from 1st to 7th. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on that one. Michael F1 currently with the fastest lap of a 106.8 for the Drivers' Champion. We're now going to go up to the front with Dopey Lemons, who's now looking around the inside of Angry Dutch Guy towards turn 2. Now towards turn 3, Angry's going to have the inside line, but Dopey Lemons around the outside, able to carry a lot more momentum. He's able to make the move, but Angry Dutch Guy does have the DRS, so we're going to keep an eye on him. We're also going to be keeping an eye on the battle just behind them as well. 2 battles in the front 4, and Dopey Lemons loses. Actually, he's still going side to side with Angry Dutch Guy, and F1 Farth still going side to side with Tomo, but he's able to shut the door as F1 Farth makes the move. Both of the Aston Martins coming out on top of their respective battles. Dopey Lemons in the lead of this race. F1 Farth currently down in P3. Oh, and it looks like Steve has himself into the wall, and he is now out of this race here, ladies and gentlemen, in Sector 3, Turn 8. And it looks like he's going to be having to take an early retirement. Angry Dutch Guy enters the pit lane on lap 4, which is going to be the virtual safety car. A good call here from Angry Dutch Guy to make the early pit stop. Going to be saving a little bit of time. It's going to be a full safety car after the crash from Steve. And it looks like we're going to be hearing from the man himself, actually, Steve.
Yeah, that was good fun. That was, yeah, just got on the curb on the exit of, was it 7?
Yeah, exit of turn 7, right on the left side of turn 8. Yep.
Yep, and then that was it. Away I went.
Well, what happened there? A little bit too much power down, or was it just a little bit of hitting the curb on that inside?
I'm usually full throttle anyway. I think I just got on the curb a little too much, and it bounced a little, and that was me. I flew off to the left, and that was it. So I felt I was doing quite well, and then that happened. So that was fun.
Well, you are one of the head of, well, you actually are one of the admins of SRM ESPORTS, being the season finale here at Austria, where we've had a 17-round calendar to end F1 2021. What is going to be the one thing you're going to be missing the most
from this season, from this game?
Season game, just one thing that you're going to miss as we move on to season 5.
Earlier on I thought I might miss Jeff. I don't think I'll miss Jeff at all though. Jeff's quite annoying.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's a shame we're losing him after so many seasons, but I still think I won't miss him overall. I don't know, I don't think there's anything in particular I will miss, because I played the new game. The early signs are everything seems better. It looks better, it feels better, it goes better. It's, I think, all round just a much better game. I think they've done a good job of it this time, and the things they've added are things we've all been crying out for.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is actually going to be the next question. Have you tested out the spectator menu in lobbies?
I have not.
Crap.
I have not. Are you looking for somebody who has, so they can see what it's like?
Yeah, because I'm looking online and such to see, hey, is there any what's it called? Any updates? Because we've been looking for like more spectator menu options for people that are doing broadcasting, like this. And I was just like, I hope someone has seen it. But I've looked online, I've looked everywhere. people from different leagues, and no one has seen anything. So I'm guessing it's not involved yet. Well,
so I spectated yesterday. It was just spectating Richard, and the menu itself, in terms of the information you've got, nothing changed. Everything's exactly the same. I think the difference they've tried to put in is that I think if you're in spectator mode, you don't necessarily have to be focusing on just one driver. I think it tries to give you more information on the screen that pops up, as well as trying to go between battles itself, so it's more F1 style into TV style. So it should make your life easier rather than you missing out on all the battles that are going on track.
Wait, I better hope so, man.
Yeah.
Because I heard, because there was like a bunch of news about it. Like, it was a bunch of news about like different things that would be added. The main things that was like the biggest change was the formation, the formation lap grid, that we'll be able to see that implemented into the game, and we've actually seen it implemented into the game. There's also the timed pit stops and things like that. It just makes it a little bit more immersive for the driver, which of course that's going to be their main bracket is going to be that. But I just wish they put a little bit more consideration into things like replays and spectator modes and stuff like that. But doesn't look like
you would
it's
think so, considering
far.
how big the game's become esports wise, and the fact that they use spectator mode. You would think that that was something they would jump all over, you know?
Yeah, but it's not even just that as well. The main thing, I'm gonna be honest with you, from my experience, they've tried to do leagues, like they had like a league mode on online, and no one has used it because it just hasn't been reliable, and people rather set things up themselves, which granted it makes sense. But oh, look at this, an early start here for Michael F1 on the safety car restart. We're gonna have to cut that conversation off here, actually, Steve, as Michael F1, the drivers' champion here in SRM Esports, and I believe the first ever back-to-back drivers' champion, is now in the lead on those old set of mediums by a second and a half off of Kittle, and it looks like we have the first spin of Highlander. We're also seeing a battle for P9, as well as Wolsey and Pablo Juarez going down the straight towards turn 3 on the uphill. Same goes with F1 Farth and Angry Dutch Guy. Of course, Angry Dutch Guy trying to do well here in his constructor's home Grand Prix of the Red Bull Ring here in Spielberg. So he's going to be wanting to provide as well. But so far, a pretty good restart there for Michael F1. Really caught Kittle with his pants down, and now leading the way by over 1.6 seconds here.
Yeah, I didn't even see him going, to be honest. He went earlier than I think most people were expecting, which is what caught Kittle off guard. We've got a good battle here between Richard Wolsey and Pablo Juarez. And just to come, it was Battle Zimini who won our Season 3. Michael is not back-to-back, but he's the first two-time champion we've had.
Oh, the first two-time champion. Got it.
Yes, he wasn't back-to-back, but he is the first two-time champion we've had. And we understand he's going to have a few difficulties getting used to the new game and the rules we're implying, but we hope that he'll be back up there next season.
But it's just like going, like, how do you think? Oh, it's Pablo Juarez and Wolsey as well, and Angry Dutch Guy, the trifecta, having themselves a little bit of a spin down towards turn 1. So I was actually about to say, what was going to be, what do you think is the most difficult part about this track? And I think we just had our answer right there.
It's curbs. It's every single one is curbs, and turn 3 traction I would say is pretty difficult. Where Wolsey is right now, coming out of that corner.
W Lemons!
You know.
W Lemons as well has himself spent around down towards turn 4 actually, as he rejoins with the ghosting effect, and Pablo Juarez making his move. Same goes with Angry Dutch Guy going around the outside. A good rejoin there from Dopey, waiting for the ghost.
Kittle's off.
Oh, and yeah, Kittle, same place as you, actually, but instead to the left, he's actually off to the right, as he rejoins just in front of Pablo, so good evasive maneuvers there. And now at the end of lap 9, Michael F1...
What a horrible lap.
Yeah. Michael F1...
Oh, there's another one round. Kittle's going round again.
Oh, right in towards the pit lane. So, crossing that white line is going to be behind Wolsey now entering that pit lane, so the bottom 4... making their way into the pit lane, and 3 of them were Well, actually, no, two of them were in that spin down towards turn 1. Pablo Juarez is the only one of those three to actually stay out on those old set of softs. Well, his new set of softs, sorry, he made the pit stop.
Yeah, he's already made a pit stop. Yeah, that's it was quite a manic lap altogether. I think Cadell spun at the end as well because he had 2 warmer tyres, but now these guys were in a battle. They're going into the pits because it didn't go so well, and now they're going to come out of the pits and be in a battle again. And I have to say the top 4, all 4 are doing really well, just keeping out of trouble, and shows you what keeping out of trouble can do for you. Look at Richard, he was starting near the back and he's now up to 3rd. Michael and Fard also started at the back, and that's your top 3. So you get yourself into trouble and into battles, you end up at the back, like the back 4. Keep yourself out of them and you're up at the top.
Well, it looks like those 4 actually have gotten themselves out of trouble with other drivers, but it looks like F1 Farth and also Pablo Juarez has given themselves a little bit of trouble with the FIA, as F1 Farth currently with 3 seconds, and I believe Pablo with a whopping 9 seconds early on in this race. So Pablo Juarez really struggling here tonight with the actually, I was actually speaking with him earlier today. He's been struggling a little bit with the traction control, of course, trying to get ourselves a little bit of a challenge for the end of the season. But it looks like we could be seeing Michael F1 come across with the race win here tonight. Still yet to make a pit stop, and I know he's going to be hoping for another safety car potentially in this race. But one thing that we gotta say.
When did Farth come in?
Farth came in near the beginning, actually. No, he came in during the safety car. And looks like we might be having another one here, as Wolsey has crashed out around turn 1. So let's see if is only a yellow flag for the time being. Could be upgraded, as the front 2 are actually approaching the now damaged Alpine around turn 1, and it looks like it's gonna be staying that way. Only a yellow flag for the time being. Very surprising, actually, but so far we still have the green flags, and we're back onto racing.
When we practiced earlier, Wolsey was having troubles with turn 1. That's where he crashed in qualifying, and he's done it in the race. I think it's hitting those curbs. If you hit the inside curb, it upsets you, and if you hit the outside curb, it upsets you. The curbs around here are a bit brutal, but he's one of the guys I'll take my hat off to. The past 2 or 3 races he's been practicing with no traction control for the first time ever, so I think he's just got to get used to these curbs, and he's got a couple of weeks to get used to the new game.
Well, we're going to have to keep an eye out on them to see practically just how it's going to work. It's going to be difficult for them here in Austria. It doesn't really it does catch out a lot of people, and it doesn't take anyone as prisoners, to be honest with you. So a bit interesting to see what's going to be the plan here tonight. And also it looks like this video, I don't think that you knew this, I think this is actually from a different game mode, in my opinion.
Oh, is that all? I just quickly...
Yeah, this is definitely from a different game.
Sent up. Oh, okay, my bad. I just quickly saw it. I was trying to get some information, and
I mean, don't get me wrong. That game actually has better spectator menus than the current F1 right now. So.
Oh, really? What game is it?
It's called Monoposto 2022. It looks interesting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and look at this right now. F1 Farth currently run on the tail end of Michael F1. And I gotta say, if you were Michael F1 right now, against the soft runner of F1 Farth, currently with a time penalty, would you defend right now, or would you just let him through?
No, I would just let him through. I don't know what strategy Michael's on. He might be on a yellows to hards, but either way, Fard still has to pit. So if you let him through, it's not a big deal. He also has a penalty, and Michael knows he's quick, and can close that gap in the later stage of the race depending on what tyre they're both on. But the problem is, if they both decide to go to hards in a few laps time, and Michael's has let Far through, then they're both on hards, and it's up to Michael to maintain that 3-second gap.
Well, let's see if Michael can do it. F1 Farth actually playing a little bit more patient, actually. Going to be utilizing the DRS a little bit more safely. And it looks like Michael F1 will now be having DRS down towards turn 4 here. But with the new season, of course, with the new game, what would you say for the actual season of Season 5, which track do you actually feel confident at? And as Michael goes on the grass, very ambitious, down towards turn 4 here. And F1 Farth, of course, going around the outside on those newer set of softs. It's going to be having a lot more grip, carrying a lot more momentum. But I'd say give it a few laps, maybe until lap 18, and we're going to be seeing Michael F1 start to creep up on the the Aston Martin, and he now has DRS once again, so it's going to be helping him even more, as we're now seeing Dopey Lemons and Angry Dutch Guy swap positions up towards turn 3 here. And another 3 seconds for the race leader right now. Pablo Juarez right on the tail end as he has himself a little bit of a slide on the exit of turn 7. Was able to save himself there, but that's going to really hurt him there, trying to push on Andy Smokes mid. That dirty air really messing up the Williams driver here tonight. But as I was saying, for the new season here, Steve, which track is going to be giving you the most excitement for the new season? Because we have quite a variety of tracks for Season 5 here.
So I have to say, just before I say one track in particular, I'm actually really looking forward to all the upgrades to all the tracks. So turn 8, I believe it is, at Spain.
Turn
so
9 and 10. Turn 10 and 11, I believe, yeah. You're talking about in Sector 3, like just the beginning of the final sector, where instead of that hairpin left-hander, it's like a long sweeping left-hander.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's turn, that's turn 10 and 11.
That should make things much nicer. It's now turn 4 at Abu Dhabi, so the 2 changes at Abu Dhabi I think will be really nice. I think that will make the track a lot more enjoyable, because that's one track I've not enjoyed in the past. And I think it will change things up, getting rid of that chicane in the first sector.
I think that's turn 5 that you're thinking of.
Yes, so I think that'll make things a lot better. And there was another track with changes?
Well, actually, there's another upgrade to Abu Dhabi as well. Remember, at the end of the second DRS
the
straight.
End of the second, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that as well. That should just make the racing a bit better, especially game-wise, because the game doesn't truly reflect real life. Overtaking's a bit easier in the game than it is in real life, so I'm hoping they'll make some.
But one overtake that we might be experiencing right now is going to be Michael F1 on the inside of F1 Farth, coming up towards turn 4 here, as they still go side to side. And I think Michael F1 actually has a pretty good plan. He's going to be battling out with F1 Farth, going to be making those softs work a little bit harder to hold the position, and he's actually going to be making F1 Farth a little bit slower, actually, which is going to be ensuring Michael F1 in that DRS zone. So he's just going to be utilizing that DRS zone. He's going to be practically farming P2 until F1 Farth has to make that pit stop. So do you think that's actually the right call here?
There's a big battle between 5th and 6th. Pablo Juarez just went a little wide there, but they swapped positions twice in the last 3 corners. So 2 exciting little battles going on where they're within a tenth of each other.
Ooh, and Pablo Juarez goes completely off turn 9 and 10, as he's really struggling with the track limits here. Got a little bit too much of that curve, had a little bit of a bouncy braking zone, so that's going to be messing him up a little bit, as he's now looking right on the tail end again. Michael F1 and F1 Farth swapping positions once again. Michael F1 with the DRS, and it looks like it's going to be Kittle who has spawned around turn 7 and 8. So it looks like it's at turn 7 and 8 that actually we've been seeing quite of action actually with the barriers. Pablo Juarez now right on the tail end of Andy Smokes mid with the DRS, and it looks like Pablo Juarez is going to be making the move around the outside. Is Andy Smokes mid going to be trying to defend? Yes, he is on the inside on those set of mediums as they bump a little bit of tires on the exit here. Andy Smokes mid then retakes the position. Pablo Juarez looking on the inside once again, a little bit of contact, and Pablo goes spinning off into the gravel. And now that is going to be a huge mishap for the Williams driver there.
That's a shame. I thought both of them were doing really well. They're drivers that... Oh, he's gone round again. His tyres are too hot. He's causing himself bother now. They're 2 drivers that are generally not near the top, and that's no offence. They both know that they're improving as they go. So to see them having that sort of racecraft on the go was really nice. But yeah, it's just unfortunate it ended the way it did. Very quickly, back to your other question. Melbourne was the last track I was thinking of.
Yeah, Australia. Yeah.
The changes, and I have to say I drove that track yesterday, and it is beautiful. It is much better than it used to be. I thoroughly enjoy that. But the track I'm most looking forward to seeing in the new game and testing out with these new cars is probably some of the older ones, probably Silverstone and Spa. You know, I know they're old tracks, but I think I want to see what these new cars can do around there, because obviously we've not seen that in real life yet up until this weekend.
Do you know what I'd say, actually?
What's that?
It hasn't been released yet, but it is within the coding of F1 22. I think Hockenheim as well as Vietnam could be potentially making a return to the F1 calendar, and I believe they would actually be pretty interesting because the last time we saw the Vietnamese Grand Prix was actually back in F1 2020, and Hockenheim was actually way before then. I believe around 2018, maybe even 2017. I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to check that. But two people that have been battling out still. It's gonna be Michael F1 and F1 Farth. And one thing I've actually been surprised of here, Steve, and I don't think that you've actually known this.
What's up?
The entire season, Michael F1 actually uses automatic gears. So now he's been switching it up a little bit for the season finale with the manual gears, I do believe. If not, I'm thinking of traction control that I'm thinking of with the medium and the no traction control. I know he had made some sort of change either to the transmission controls or the traction control, as he has a little bit of a slip on the exit of turn 10. But it just amazes me. Even having a little bit more assists actually gets you, in theory, a lot quicker on the grid.
Yeah, and you would like to think that it would be the other way around to try and get people to be, you know, like a little more realistic. But I think Michael he has been driving automatic gears and he has been practicing his traction control off for the new season. And I think, and I don't know if he is, but if he goes to manual gears, it makes taking the traction off much easier. You can upshift early, you can get through those gears early, but I don't know how it works with the controller in terms of what gear up and gear down is, because I know he uses a control pad rather than a steering wheel. So it's not going to be easy for him, and I have to say the new game traction off is very, very different. Traction medium is like traction off in this game just now, so it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, because what I've been told, and what I've actually experienced, no traction control with the new cars is extremely difficult, mainly because of the tire temperature allocations with the new game. It's very difficult to get those tires up to temp for the beginning. But Michael F1, the driver's champion, has actually just gotten himself his first time penalty, and actually quite a few drivers have some time penalties on the grid, so let's actually go through them, shall we? F1 Far currently leading the way of the race with currently 6 seconds of time penalties. Michael and Tomo finishing off the podium with 3 seconds each. Then we have Richard with no penalties, Dopey Lemons with 6, Angry Dutch Guy with 3, Andy Smokesmith with 0. Then we have Highlander with 6, the most here tonight, Pablo Juarez with 12 seconds. Then we have Kittle with 0, and then Slater himself with 8. So a lot of time penalties over the field.
Yeah, Slater picked up a 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. He's done that a few times in the past couple of races.
Yep.
Not that I could talk, because for the past 3 races I've crashed out, so not doing so well myself. But what are you seeing?
So for a sec there, I saw F1 Fart do a little bit of a swivel. I think he was making a fake entrance into the pit lane. But I'm actually
looking... have a look at this battle for 5th.
Oh yeah, Angry Dutch Guy as well as Dopey Lemons.
Yep.
Right on the inside there. A beautiful move there from Angry Dutch Guy. Down towards turn 4, now towards turn 6 here. Dopey Lemon's trying to pull the switch back, and it looks like a little bit of contact between the two drivers. It looks like going side to side on turn 6 is definitely not going to be a go-to here tonight. We've seen 2 incidents now with drivers going side to side and coming out with a little bit of contact. So I don't know if you saw a better view of that. Was that someone not giving enough space, or just a little bit too eager?
They both gave space. I think Dopey Lemon's trying to get the throttle down, understeered a little bit into the back wheel, so Dopey Lemon's front wheel touched the rear wheel of Angry Dutch Guy, and it doesn't make sense because usually you expect the guy whose back wheel got hit to spin, but in this game it was Dopey who spun, and now he's right on the tail of the Highlander, and he's making a move going up towards turn 3.
Yep, and it looks like Highlander actually has, he's quite low on the ERS here tonight, as he's having those blinking red lights here, reserving for Markey actually here for the Red Bull team. So let's see if he can bring in some crucial points here tonight. Michael F1 and F1 Fart going side to side into turn 1 here as they fight for turn 1, and looks like both of them not being rewarded with any DRS. And it looks like Michael F1, if I was in any of these two's situation, I would be in a Michael F1 situation, mainly because he knows the driver ahead of him, his tires are going to be struggling. He has saved up quite a bit of ERS, where the person ahead of him, F1 Farth, actually currently has less than 30% of ERS. Michael F1 actually has about, if I am reading the HUD, that wheel correctly, I believe around 70% actually for him. So he's been saving quite a bit of power and going to be using them when it truly matters. But the thing is, they both going to make a pit stop at some point. You can actually see the degradation line of those said tires on Michael F1, as F1 Fard looks like he's going to be entering the pit lane here, and Michael decides to stay out still.
I think that means that Farr will go on to the reds. He's already done 16 laps on those reds, so you know he can go another 13 on another set of reds. Michael's going to have to put in one hell of a lap here so he can come in on the next lap and get his softs on. I saw, just as we were talking about that battle, Slater had another spin, that's why he's so far off the back. But again, he's brand new to no traction control, so he's just out there trying to practice. But yeah, we really need a good in lap here from Michael, and on the same, Farth needs a really good out lap here to see who can, if anybody can create a little bit of a gap. But you would suspect that with the way it works, Farth should be the one to get the advantage with those soft tires.
Well, we're gonna have to wait.
On the mediums.
We're gonna have to wait and see right now, because Michael F1 is going all out with that ERS on those straights, and now coming down towards turn 7 and 8. He's still
pitting.
Yep, and he's going really well with that ERS, and it looks like we have a little bit of a spin, and it's going to be Highlander who has spun around turn 1 once again, second time today, and he has lost his entire wing. Now we're going to go on board with F1 Farth, who's actually put in a purple sector 2 here, so this could be a very good undercut from F1 Farth. But now Michael F1...
I think that's going to work out. He's coming around the last corner now. Yeah, he is now. And Michael's just left his pit box, so there goes Richard past. And I think, despite having the inside line, I think Farth, pitting that one lap earlier, getting that undercut, he's made a huge gap on Michael.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be a good 3 or 4 seconds, is it? Or 2 seconds at the moment?
Yep, around 2 seconds actually, so a very good undercut there from F1 Farth. But now Michael has quite a bit of work ahead of him. But to be honest with you, I don't think Michael's going to be looking to do anything too drastic, because he's still within 3 seconds of F1 Farth. He's looking at a podium here tonight. Richard actually currently in the lead of this race, and Pablo Juarez, who is actually crashed out around the final corner actually, and has brought out the safety car.
Well, this will change things up a little, because that gap that Farth just created means that's gone and closed. And I think our Tomo Tip Top's likely to come in the pits, which means Richard, I think, is going to be leading this race, because he'll be able to go to the end on those mediums.
But let's see, is Tomo's pit stop right now actually going to put him ahead of Richard? That is going to be the question. Richard enters the pit lane.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. But now it is can Tomo Tip Top get out before Farth and Michael?
I think they will actually. I think Richard.
Tomo Tip Top definitely will. I'm not sure about Richard. He's coming down, and there goes F1 Farth and Michael. So Tomo Tip Top now leading this race.
Yep, and that just makes you think about what's going through Michael F1's head right now. He's going to be banging himself in the head, because it looks like he took a pit stop a lap too early. Because if he did it on that on the safety car, he would be leading this race.
Yeah, but at the same, it's exactly the same. If he'd done it 2 laps earlier, he would have got the jump on Farth. It's one of those unknowns. In Austria, it's a track where safety cars can come out, but there's usually enough runoff that it doesn't happen. But now it's looking at the top 4 altogether. Tomo Tip Top now controls this, so it's how much of a gap can he get over Farth, and at the same time, how much of a gap can Farth get over Michael at the safety car restart. You know, Farth's just had that 2-second gap cut right down to the guy who's just as fast as him around here. And then you've got Richard, who is usually pretty quick in race pace. We have to see what he can do. So it'll be an interesting safety car restart and how these 4 get on, and who gets the jump on who.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I would actually not cancel Andy Smoke Smith from that gap neither. He's right on the tail end of Richard, currently with no time penalties. However, even though he is on the set of mediums, I think that he can hold out with those soft runners to get at least some sort of DRS and make up some moves with the time penalty being applied at the end of this race. So I'd say don't rub Andy Smokesmith out of this just yet. But so far, those front four though, quite
I think the
quite high
person
up
this hurts the
there.
most is Farr because of his penalties. He needed that gap over Michael, that 2 seconds, and he needed to try and pull away. Now that these all been jumbled up, he has to get a 3-second gap. So if he can get past Tomo Tip Top pretty quickly and try and create a gap whilst Michael tries to get past, I think that's the only way he wins this race.
Well, let's see what the plan is here for the Aston Martin. But 2 people so far, Andy
Oh,
Smokesmith as
Highlander
well.
spun.
Oh, he has spun again.
Yeah, he spun at the last corner under the safety car.
Yeah, it looks like James is actually struggling a little bit here tonight. Still within the points, so he's going to be giving Red Bull some crucial points potentially for the Constructors' Championship. But as it stands right now, I believe Ferrari is on top of the championship. And it looks like Michael F1 will be having the more points than the Red Bull here tonight, so it could look like a double championship season for Michael F1, would you say?
Yeah, it's looking like that, and for that you have to thank Grimmy as well. Grimmy's come on a long way this season. I know he's not with us tonight, and he's not coming with us into Season 5, but he's been Michael's teammate, and he's had some really strong results to help boost that Constructors. And it is a shame, I have to say, that Mark's not here to try and fight for both championships, but yeah, it looks like Ferrari are on their way to a double championship win in Season 4. And here we go for a safety car restart.
And we actually heard from the man himself, F1 Farth, currently in the chat, saying that like this is a fun race. He's really enjoying himself out there. Michael F1 has been giving him a little bit of stick, would you say? But still makes it very enjoyable. But it looks like Tomo actually is going to start it off now, and
it wasn't a good start.
Well, I mean, he's done a good start off of Michael F1, but not off of F1 Farth. But of course, no. Michael F1 with those new set of softs is going to be able to catch up, and with them two battling out up ahead, it's really going to make it easy for him to catch up.
Well, this is what I was saying though. F1 Farth needs to get past Tomo Tip Top quickly, and then hope that Tomo Tip Top can somehow hold Michael up a little bit, just so that Farth can try and create that gap. If not, then Michael's in probably the better position to win this race. But Tomo Tip Top, you can't just go at the very last corner and not expect the likes of Farth and Michael to just follow you very closely. That's how he lost that position. But I have to say, Tomo Tip Top usually the most unlucky person on our grid. We have said it for the past 2 seasons. He is the unluckiest man on our entire grid, where he is fast and quick in qualifying and gets himself in trouble. So I'm really happy to see him up there in today's race. And if he got a podium, then I'd be delighted, because he's a good guy.
Well, let's see if it turns out well for the McLaren driver. The only thing is that we actually have less than 10 laps left, and we are actually going to be starting to think about driver of the day. And I think you probably said it right there on the head of the nail, actually, as Michael does make his way past Tomo. Tomo actually has done pretty well, and for a season finale, it's not how you start the season or the previous season, is how you end it. And so far, Tomo is doing pretty well. As well, Richard and Michael F1, of course, starting from the back of the grid. F1 Farth going with an alternate strategy, had to think on the fly with the safety car. Andy Smokesmith currently keeping a clean race, doing pretty well. Angry Dutch Guy just got unlucky with some of those safety cars. Started in pole position with an amazing start. However, now currently down in P6 with a time penalty. We also could be saying as well to Kittle, who hasn't really, we can say, I think he can admit as well, hasn't really been the top performer in the season. But places like China and stuff like that, different, like very difficult tracks, he's actually done pretty well, you gotta say. And he's actually doing pretty nicely here tonight, as Michael F1 going to be getting the fastest lap here, and the DRS down towards turn 2 and 3. Let's see how F1 Farth is going to be defending it, but it doesn't look like he's going to have to work much for it, as Michael F1 makes the dive into turn 3 here, and he'll be getting DRS as well once again. Oh, actually, no. F1 Farth is able to
Farth
get it,
just
so
stole it, yeah.
just got it in the dying moments. So a good switch back up positions there for the front two. And Andy Smokes Mid, I just saw, has just gotten himself a time penalty. And Kittle, what a move from Kittle there, able to get a little bit more brave down towards turn 3. Able to use that braking zone with those new set of softs absolutely perfectly as he now moves up into P6. But again, Tomo Tip Top is quite up there, and I don't think anyone is going to be taking it from him at this point, because even if he crashes out right now, he's overall had an amazing race. And Dopey Lemons and James going side to side had a little bit of contact as James Reed joins with a 3-second time penalty. Dopey Lemons had himself a little bit of a spin around that final corner, and he's going to be making his way into the pit lane. And his tires are just not going to be helping him out there. Michael F1 now again looking on the inside of F1 Farth. I think Michael will be having DRS here, though. So let's see who's going to be coming up on top. And Michael does have the DRS. He's going to be getting a little bit of slipstream to solidify it. Dopey Lemons retires into the pit lane, but most likely to a mechanical failure. But Michael F1 retakes the lead of this race, and F1 Fart now down to P2, and that move right there just solidifies and pretty much sums up his entire career of Season 4, in my opinion. Just fighting against the best of the best, got really brave in it. Oh, didn't really get the space there, F1 Fart, did he? So a little bit of tire bumping, but a good save there from F1 Farth. And to be honest with you, a very difficult corner to go side to side there. But that's the thing that I'm telling you about. I was telling you about Michael F1. His season pretty much summed up. Going up against the fastest drivers, sometimes coming out on top, sometimes doesn't. But he also has that ruthless aggression that, when, like you saw it earlier, when he was actually going on the grass to just make the move on F1 Farth. So even though it's very clean, but it's like he goes into those high risk, high reward moments, and he's been doing that all season, and it looks like it's been just high rewards for him.
Yeah, it has, but I would have to say, when it comes to Michael, it's still low risk, high reward in my eyes, because he never does anything that's going to put two people out of a race. I always find that whenever I'm coming up against Michael, whether I'm as fast as him or whether I'm slower than him, there's always just enough room. There's always just enough braking time. You're never in a fight where you know that, oh, I'm going to lose my wing against Michael. And it's the same with Farth. You're never going to lose your wing, well, unless you're Albert, because Albert and Farth hit each other all the time. But with the rest of us, no, those two guys are really fair, and they're so fast, and I think you're seeing that on display tonight, because look at these two. For the last 15 laps, they've been right next to each other the entire race, and I think other than a couple of tiny taps, it's been really fair racing, but really fast racing.
I don't know if you just missed that there, Richard.
I did. No, I saw it.
Yeah, that was a bit ambitious there from Richard. Completely shoves Tomo off of turn 1 there. That might actually have to go down with the stewards.
As admin, I'm giving him a 3-second penalty for that, don't you worry. And he's one of my best friends, so...
That was a heavy push there, but now looking on the rear end of F1 Farth, F1 Farth was trying to block the exit, but I think F1 Farth, what he does very well, which I believe he's actually the best at in this entire league, is his defending. He knows how to perfectly position that Formula 1 car to make it a huge hassle for the drivers behind them to try and make the move, as we just saw down towards turn 4. And I've been saying this pretty much throughout the season. I said it at Brazil, I'm pretty sure I said it at Silverstone, but F1 Farch is going to be just, I believe, the best defender in SRM Esports. And Michael F1, I think, is just the overall best, of course, due to the result of the season. It's been proven. But when we look at those little bitty things, like people that has like the least amount of
I would watch this though, by Richards in this fight as well now.
Yeah, we could be seeing a 3-way battle here. Michael F1 trying to squeeze his nose in as he has DRS once again. And
a Tomo Tip Top as well, right on the back of Richard. There's all four of them. The thing is, with this fight up front between Farth and Michael, Tomo Tip Top and Richard are getting involved now. It's not just the two of them fighting for first anymore. Now there's all four of them back up at the top, and Kiddle has brought that gap down by over 1.5 seconds in the last 3 laps to try and catch up with the front four. So these two fighting at the top, it's really great entertainment, and the thing is, it's going to make even more entertainment as these other guys get involved, and it's superb. When you were talking about Farth, though, he is one of the best defending guys, and it's fair. He's never unfair with it. My problem with Farth is, I'm not fast enough to be able to catch him for him to have to defend against me. So he only ever attacks me. He never gets to defend against me.
Well, we're actually now seeing it. F1 Farth is actually currently having the blinking red lights. He has lost quite a bit of ERS, and look at Richard right on the tail end. Oh, and a little bit of a hop there from F1 Farth.
Oh,
and look at Richard pushing F1, Michael F1, as we're going 3-1. A little bit of contact on the rear tire there from Richard. He's just pushing Michael F1 to the left. And look at Tomo around the outside. Double overtake from Tomo.
That's amazing.
Absolutely outstanding from the McLaren. Against two of the top runners in the season. Look at that!
That for me, I have to save that because that for me is overtake of the entire season from anything I've ever seen. That was amazing. He went where nobody was thinking a car would go. He just braked later and went around the outside. So Michael, from fighting with Farth, lost 2 positions in one corner, and Tomo picked up 2 by going past Richard as well. Absolutely superb racing between these guys, and we've got one more time round the Red Bull ring to see if they can do it again. And absolutely superb racing out here. That is brilliant, as Richard unfortunately picks up another 3-second penalty. And Tomo tipped up on the back. Michael trying to get past Richard on the pit straight, and it looks like he's got the job done, but that means Richard will get the DRS going up towards turn 3, but Michael will have it on Tomo tip top, and Tomo tip top on Farth.
Yeah, so let's see, can Tomo tip top? If it stays like this, Tomo will come across with the race win, but I don't think Michael's going to be wanting that, as he makes the dive on the inside of turn 3, as they bump a little bit of rubbers, and it looks like Michael is going to make the move back into P2, provisional P1, once the time penalties are going to be served. But I'm already typing it in. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulate Tomo Tip Top as today's driver of the day. Absolutely extraordinary from the Papaya Man.
Yeah, that overtake was incredible. He's kept a clean race. For once he's not been unlucky and been hit out by somebody else. He's managed to keep it together. He's on the podium, and I know because the front 2 were fighting, that's how he kept up, but he's kept his own against some of these guys, and yeah, absolutely delighted to see him as driver of the day, and hopefully he gets across the line, or is Richard going to get him? Oh! I think Tomo Tip Top just got it, and that means he gets second because of Farth's penalties as well. Superb, but hats off to Michael, not only a championship winner, but also a race winner. What a race that was. I'm kind of glad it crashed.
Hey, I'm glad too. This would have been a lot boring just having me in the comms box. But absolutely outstanding season all around. F1 Farth also says in the chat that was absolutely a brilliant. Alicia, of course, she's going to be extraordinarily happy to see his man win the championship, the first time ever in SRM where we have a 2-time champion for Michael F1. Outstanding, and what better car could have been than the Ferrari? Just an overall outstanding race, as he's gonna be holding up his $50,000 wheel there. But now he can lift the trophy.
It makes me think. I wonder what it would have been like with Mark involved as well today. Could you imagine all 5 of them at the front fighting today? That could have been even better. So missing
true.
Mark out there today. I hope he's doing all right. But we look forward to seeing him in season 5. And yeah, what a race that was in the end. That was superb. There was action all over the place. And in a way, I have to thank the safety car for making it even better than it could have been. Usually I hate safety cars, but it brought the bunch together. And
is that your way of saying that you've contributed to this?
Well, I mean, I crashed so badly I didn't even bring one out.
Michael just says that he's a 3-time champion, right?
Yeah,
drivers champion,
now,
and this now drivers and constructors champion. So a 3-time champion for Michael F1. But I'm actually going to see if we can hear from the main man himself. Actually, I hope, and as Alicia says in the chat, sending love to Marky. I hope he's doing okay. But we're actually going to be right back. We're actually going to be hearing from the man himself. So I'm going to quickly see if I can get him in here. If I can find him. Open your eyes. There we go.
Coming across with us for season 5, I just want to say thanks for racing, whether it's been in the last few seasons or just this season. You know, the league doesn't exist without you guys, so if you're not racing with us next season, the likes of Grimmy and stuff, then I just want to say thanks. There's a few reserves out there who I'm looking forward to seeing if they get the chance to come back. There's one of our old semi-admins, Mini Sprite. He used to race with us and was very quick and up at the front, and I really hope that he can come back. And we've got a few other reserves sitting in the wings. So get practicing without your traction control, boys. Season 5 starts in a couple of weeks.
Exactly. If you guys want to know when exactly that is, the calendar has been already set, and is going to be on the 13th of July for the Mexican Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys want to cue into that, of course, it will be here on the SRM Esports channel on the 13th, I believe the same time, same day. So, just keep that on your calendar. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time to congratulate, and I gotta say thank Michael F1 here, ladies and gentlemen, who is come across the way with the race win to solidify Drivers Champion as well as Constructors Champion. Let's hear from the man himself, Michael F1. Congratulations on your overall beautiful season. I don't think you could have done any better, my man. Congratulations on a 2-time champion of Season 4.
Technically it's a 3-time because I won in my first 2 seasons.
Did you win in Season 2?
Yeah, just about.
Oh, I knew you won Season 1, and I thought, I couldn't remember who won Season 2. So no, I apologise, I thought you were only a 2-time winner.
Well then, there you go, 4-time champion, because you also got two championships today, mate. Congratulations.
Cheers. Well, if you plus the constructor last season with Marky.
Oh, for fuck's sake, stop adding to your list, mate. Calm down, Jesus Christ.
But anyway,
I'm a 12-time champion, yeah, I know, right?
Well, after when I heard the rules were changing next season, I definitely needed this one because I know I'm going to be struggling next season. But yeah, despite Marky being also, it was actually a very fun, tough fight, especially with Farth, who.
That was a great race, man.
Yeah, who arguably I think he should have been in the fight of the championship, but he just made costly mistakes that cost him the position. But he drove like his life depended on it, and that was really good to see. And what a way to finish the 4th season of SRM.
Would you say that was your favourite race of the season, or is there one that stands out more than that?
Probably, I think it's got to be the race that I didn't win, and I think that was Imola, when I made that decision to go on the Inters straight after the first safety car on lap 1.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that one as well. I was like, why the fuck is he on Inters? But no, it worked out for you. No, you did really well. Because you were at the back, were you not?
Yeah, I crashed out before my first flying lap in quali. So, yeah, which was a gamble at the time, but there wasn't so many puddles on that day, so I took the gamble because I was at the back, so no harm done then. Plus there's probably a few safety cars during the race, which there was. But yeah, it was a fun race that day, and also a fun championship with Marky, which I am glad he didn't take part, because I think the second half of the season he was the better driver, but it was so close between us all season long. Not just all season, but I think throughout SRM, the last 4 seasons, it's been really top and go, and he's got a very good chance of winning it next season.
I have to say he's probably one of my favourites for winning it next season, just because of the rule changes, and obviously he's been driving without traction for a while. I know it's going to be different for you. So we were talking about, Justin and I were talking during that race, and we were asking sort of what assists you've changed. We know you have a few assists on just now, but is it just a traction, or are you trying to do manual gears as well, or how's it looking for next season?
Well, my game's finally downloaded content-wise, so I can actually try all the tracks out. I think my plan is just run as normal assist for now until I can actually get a good setup under my belt, and then probably 2 weeks before SRM starts, and then I'll try and practice from there. I think the way forward will be manual gears, but on a pad it's quite difficult just trying to remember what corners go in where. So I am going into next season very challenging, not really competitively, so if I can get a podium, that will be like a race win for me. So it is going to be a very tricky season next season, but I'm happy to give it a go.
I have to say it's going to be a steep learning curve. I'm struggling without traction control right now in the new game. I'm hoping
But
they make a few changes, but there's some new tracks and things to look forward to as well, and it's a long season, and I think the whole point with no traction is even if you are slow at the beginning, the plan is to get a bit quicker at the end. So you never know, you might be up there near the end, and then when we do our mini season, season 6, you never know, you might be fighting for it again.
yeah, I'm hoping so. And if you look in the comments, Fast says he wants to join this party if he wants to. But yeah, I think actually speaking of Fast, I think he's got the same. I think he's got the same driving style as me, like assist wise. So it's gonna be even challenging for him. So I think it'll be quite mates next season of who comes out best out on that one. But I hope if that does happen, it'll be quite interesting. But I think looking at the outside of the rule changes, I think it'd be nice to see other people be on the podium as well. Like, yeah, we probably think Mikey will be the favourite, but I think Andy might be there. Jay, if he's in this league, he could be up there as well. Even you, Steve, you might even get probably a race win yourself as well. So it's going to be quite.
If you remember back to season 1 and 2, I was up there. It seems that this game's not been nice to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were in the McLaren, weren't you?
Yeah, and just so you know, remember you were talking about Vietnam?
Yeah.
Just one little fact for you. I am the only driver on the SRM grid to have won at Vietnam, because we only did it for one season.
Well, hey, it's gonna have to make a return. Let's see if you're gonna be the Vietnam King then. But
Well, hopefully Steve won't swear at me next season. What he likes to do.
I swear at everyone.
He swears at me for Christ's sake. Like, come on now.
But yeah, it's been a fun, challenging season. Probably the toughest one so far. I know the points doesn't say differently, but it has been a very tough season. And yeah, I'm thankfully to be a 3-time world champion in SRM, but I know it's going to be a tough one to find out where the next thing will be. But on to the next season we go.
All right. Well, we're actually going to be hearing with the man that has been giving you, let's say, the most hard work here today, F1 Farth. An amazing race from you, my man, for the Aston Martin team. Are you happy with the result, or do you feel like you should have come out on top even though the time penalties were against you here today?
It worked. It did work.
I'm not. Actually, I'm just going to say this. When I overtook Clark with the last few laps, I thought that was the last lap.
Oh no.
Yeah, on lap 34, I thought it was the last lap, so I just backed out.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you guys. It was great doing it with you, Justin. I'll let you carry on, but I need to shoot off.
Alright, sounds good, mate. Again,
Congrats
Steve,
again,
everybody.
Michael. Good fight, Barth.
Alright, thank you.
Well, F1 Farth had, in Michael's words from earlier, in the second season, F1 Farth was the better driver. We're going to be excited to have you back once again. So, do you think that this season could be yours, or we're going to have to wait and see due to the relegation changes? Well, we're going to have to wait on that. But let's say this, right? We've asked Michael his favorite part of the season. What would you say is your favorite part of the season? Which race? Well, it's always good to end it on a good note, right, my mate? Well, we're actually gonna kick it off there. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, a big congratulations to everyone that has been partaking in the SRM Esports from round 1 all the way to round 17. Even if the people that left midway, Battle Z Mini being one of them, Marky as well, who was unfortunately not here today due to family reasons. I hope everything is okay with him and wherever he's at. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for Season 4 of SRM ESPORTS. We're going to be back in a few weeks' time with a new F1 car, new F1 game, F1 2022, new relegation changes, new faces, same faces, new cars, some new tracks, some old tracks. Now let's see who's going to be the one to come out on top. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to cue into all of that right here on the SRM Esports YouTube channel, so you get yourself all of the amazing racing that we've seen here today. We're going to be replicating that next week. And of course, a big thank you to Michael F1. Big thank you to F1 Fars for making today's race very memorable. Same goes with Tomo Tip Top, today's driver of the day, after that beautiful double overtake, solidifying his position. But ladies and gentlemen, I've been rambling on for too long. I've been waffling a little bit. That's going to be it for SRM Esports, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with the new relegation changes in a few weeks' time. Hopefully these drivers do their practice, do their homework, and we'll be back with round 1, the Mexican Grand Prix. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Lots of love and stay safe, everybody. We'll see you next time.